Hey, family, welcome to the iMANi channel. You came to be motivated, we came to take you there. So let's grow better, be better, and do better. How y'all doing? This is Base iMANi.
And Coach Green Jean. Good to see
And
you again.
yes, sir. And before we get started, you know what I'm going to say? Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We love you guys, and we are here to stay. So we want to stay connected with you all. So make sure you ring that bell so you can get the notifications for weekly updates and content to help you be better, grow better, and do better.
Yeah.
So, Coach, talk to me, man. How has things been going these last week and a half or
You
two?
know what? I cannot lie, man. It has been going fabulous, man. Fabulous only because I'm seeing myself out of the way and through some turbulent times. But we can talk a little bit later about. But yeah, man, I'm doing fabulous. How about you, man? How have you been?
Man, man, I'm doing fantastic as well. Uh, Similarly, I've gotten through some turbulent times myself in different ways. But even more, like I have some big accomplishments that I've achieved recently. First of all, on the professional side. As a young professional, I officially signed with Canby's Markets as the development
Yay.
coordinator in Kansas City, Missouri. So that's a humongous accomplishment that I've achieved.
Hype
Uh,
man. Go ahead,
yes,
bro.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The next big accomplishments that I let you all know about is, as you all know, I play Magic: The Gathering. It is one of the largest card games on the planet. Owned Created by Wizards of the Coast, owned by Hasbro. And this last weekend, I won my first modern Magic the modern Magic the Gathering tournament. So that was amazing. Got first place for that, and even more for those who know about the game. I won it with a personal deck that I made myself that I've been working on for the last maybe 6+ months. So that was an amazing for me. I love challenging myself. So going online and copying the deck wasn't enough for me. So I went ahead and I went through the struggle and lost a bunch until I finally got there. And that's those are my two big accomplishments. I'm still going to tournaments. I'm still making move towards the move as I transition to Kansas City. I'm just excited, and so that those are the big things for me. But talk to us, Coach. Like, tell us a little more about what you have going on, these trials you've overcome.
Man, you know what? I think at the heart of it, it was just kind of like purging away and losing, you know, uh, the old habits that have been holding me back,
Mm,
particularly, habits of getting out of my own way, you know?
mm,
And what I mean by that is that, you know, um, I'm gonna say it like this because it came to my heart. You know,
yes.
living in the moment, being very conscious and not compulsive. You know,
Mm,
and some of that has come from I was like eavesdropping on mom's astrology class,
yes.
and as humans, we can uh, vibe a little bit too much toward compulsion. Um, and that is kind of like an example of negative energy when we're just being a little bit more to ourselves and people that are around us,
Mm,
and it is not having our best interest in mind or the best interest of others around us when we're being compulsive behavior, just being that's not just too self-centered, too
mm,
selfish. And then but the other thing is being conscious, is being aware of your surroundings and living in the moment as it relates to your desires, right? Your
mm,
desires from your heart that causes you to live a lifestyle that of balance, like
yeah.
knowing when to hold them and when to fold them as it relates to your eating, your thinking, educating yourself. You're not just being too self-indulged, but you're aware of yourself. You're aware of your breathing, aware of how the sun is hitting your skin, aware how the air is, hitting you, and being conscious of how much sleep you're getting, so that you're
Yes.
you're awake and attentive, and so that's that whole thing, we talked about a few episodes back about anxiousness, kind of in that
Yes.
same area. And so the issue had been me just being like overly compulsive or anxious
Mm.
about selling this home and going to the next phase.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, this dude is like, man, and I told mom, and when I share with mom, she'd be like, "Oh, hold on, chief.
Yeah.
You let's not rush the work that is being done."
Exactly.
And so the good thing is that uh, I got back in my groove at work, dropped a lot
Mm.
of ego, dropped a lot of pride, and I'm getting my groove back. This
Yes.
job that I've been in this industry for 30 years, but the company I've been with was 6. And so in the construction industry, no matter what company you work for, you still have honed into a set of skills that is giving you the reputation, the image and the identity that you've developed. And yes, while that is going to look different in the future, I'm still going to be involved in the construction industry, but it might be in different facets. I started to start looking ahead, you know, um, too far and
Mm.
not really being conscious of the impact that I am able to make in the world around me and in myself. And
Mm.
so that's where that anxiousness comes in when you're not conscious, of being present, living too far in the future or
Mm.
you too far in the past. Staying in the moment, being present and
Yeah.
conscious of your decisions, conscious of your behavior, conscious of your words, with yourself and others, and staying in tune. Shoot, staying up late, eating that extra cookie, you know, not just one cookie, but 2 or 3. You're like, look, I deserve it. I'm rewarding myself. It get like that sometimes. We do, but then there comes in time. You gotta ease up. Get back to working out. Moving that body. Get back to meditation. Get back to reading and getting back on track with the plan. The
Yes.
plan to finishing up that online educational program or book or article or research. Get back in the driver's seat of your own destiny. And I'm talking beyond the work that's in the job. I'm
Yes.
talking about the work that's in you, that your desire of why you were put here.
Mm.
Your purpose. My purpose, yes, is to take care of my family, make sure the bills are paid, be a good citizen, all that other stuff. But my desire while I'm here on the earth is to impact young people, to give them
Yes.
opportunities that I didn't have when I was young, but through the 3H workshop, we build legacy, we buy, we fit through those vehicles where we feel that we can make the most impact. So yeah, I'm just excited that I'm back on track, man. Back on track. Not like I jumped too far, but when you feel anxious, you get up and you like, time to make the donuts.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta do this shit again. Excuse my language.
No, it's
I gotta
complete.
find yourself complaining and murmuring, and it's like,
Yep.
and this dude is saying, and you just got the finger pointing at everybody, you know.
Everybody else doing something wrong, and you now realizing that, hey, I need to see it through for the end of this journey. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, I really resonate with what you're saying. Um, Back in the September, October, November time of last year, when I was still with my company as a mechanical design engineer, I felt myself already ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I felt that I had everything locked in and that I already felt like I did everything I needed to do. But it wasn't until I fully devoted myself to my job to see everything through and I pushed myself even harder. That is when, for me, God was like, all right, you're ready. I release you. And he let me go a month earlier than I thought I was ready to leave. And it was to the point when he finally said, you're ready. You are the master. You got the glow. You know what I'm saying? Shout out The Last Dragon for the folks who don't know that movie. Check it out with Bruce Leroy. But it wasn't then where for me he positioned me where I can leave my job earlier than I originally estimated. But he always had it within his plan. So I say all that to say I feel that anxious is both the anxiety of I don't know how everything's gonna work out, but also the anxiousness of like, come on, like let's get it going, do everything right, like I've done everything right. I fixed the house. I did. I've saved the money. I've gotten my children to college. I've provided for my wife. I've accomplished everything I need to do with my job. And you still want me to do all these things. That's when he wants you to double down and he wants to see how bad do you actually want it. My last, like, I gotta throw this last, and you already know. Uh, I think about when I say this, the question, how bad do you want it? Last night I went to a pre-release tournament. Okay, what a pre-release tournament is, there's a new set of cards that are coming out for Magic the Gathering, and they release them early to the public in these small boxes that you'll get 6 pack of 15 cards, and you build a deck, and you compete with the cards you built the deck with in the moment. No pre-thinking, you just gotta go. And I was doing very well. After the first 3 rounds, I won, I lost, and I won, and I could have. I was at that point, I was going to be because I did so good. I was going to the next level of the competition, and I saw what the prize pool was. Which at first I wasn't even thinking about the prize. I was just having fun, and I was thinking about Usman. If you all saw this fight, he finally lost the title. Unfortunately, got in the head. I watched the highlights. I love him, but he got. And I watched the interview for Joe Rogan where he said he felt relieved because all the pressure was off him in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like afterwards, thinking about it afterwards. And I thought in that moment, I'm gonna think like Usman. I'm gonna just do one fight at a time, one game at a time, not even thinking about matches. And so when I finally went into the final game, I just was in my flow and I was just moving. And even though I lost, it was an amazing game that I learned so much about myself, about my opponent, and built relationships that I could use more because I took the pressure off myself that I need to win. Because when I was up there at the front counter and I saw the list, like the stacks of piles of prizes, it went from top the lowest 8 of the top 22. So lowest 8 get 2 packs. Then the 4 through then 5 through 8 get 4 packs, and then you get fifth. I mean, you get fourth, third, second, and first got this super pack of cards. It was at least probably anywhere from easily maybe $500 to $1,000 worth of product. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And that's just the worth of product. That's not even worth what you end up opening inside, which is randomized. And I asked myself, how bad do I want it? And I realized I don't know, like I really don't want it really bad, but I do desire it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just do it one game at a time. I'm gonna take it one step at a time. If I win, that's great. If I lose, that's great. I'm just gonna take it one game at a time. And I'm not gonna wait for people to take the pressure off of me to perform as being one of the only black men whenever I enter these places, as you being one of the only black professionals within at this highest level within your industry. I took the pressure off myself and so I'm just gonna do it one day at a time. I'm gonna go into work one day at a time. I'm not worried about next week. I'm be, as you say, in the present, the here, the now. And even though I lost, usually, just to give you all a perspective, you're given 50 minutes per match, and it's best 2 out of 3. And in that 50 minutes, literally, we only were able to do one game. It took 50 minutes to do one game because it was like we were having fun with it, where he did this, and then I did this, and then he did this. And one game to take 50 minutes is, I want to give you all perspectives, astronomical, because one of the judges, the store owners, had to come over and was like, okay, who's winning? And he's like, oh, we're still on game one. He's like, what? And the board was still filled, the board, like the board of cards and everything we were doing within that one game, not even the match, but the game. And at the end, he pulled forward and he ended up winning. But it was humbling. But because I took the pressure off myself, I knew, like, oh, this is okay. And I got up and dapped him up, dapped this white boy up. I was like, you got me, man. Like, you were a better man today. And I wasn't pulled out of my flow state because I released the anxiousness that I was putting on myself. So I really resonate with what you're saying. That's just something that came to my heart, Coach.
I'm glad you took your time to break that down and share. Some other things came to mind, like while you were
Talk to
talking, and I kind of lost them because I just got so indulged into what you were saying. Oh, it came back. There it goes. The spirit gave it back to me.
There we go. There we
So,
go.
so it was two things. One was about your Magic Gathering card, right? Just I'm gonna put that there, and so I didn't forget it. And then the other thing is that we hit a level of mastership and glow for that particular level. And then when we go to the next level, that's a whole nother level of mastership and glow. So it's not to say that we've lost anything. It's just that
Yeah.
I believe that spirit gives us the ability to shine on whatever level that we're on and to
Yes.
keep the same shine from every experience. It's
Yes.
just like, even for grandmasters, there might be a Super Saiyan grandmaster level, but it may require a different level of maturity,
Hmm.
humility, strength, power in all different shapes and sizes. Because it's like when you think about, martial arts, when you think about the construction or mechanical engineering or startups or anything, you will master that particular level, but it's just so many different nuances that you can add to your game to allow you to be even that much more, I won't say efficient, but to perfect your purpose. I don't
Hmm.
believe we reach perfection until we actually enter into that next realm, uh,
Yes.
of energy or spirituality. And what I'm talking about as energy beings, I don't believe we die. I believe we just transfer, because as energy beings, energy can't be destroyed. It
Yes.
can be created. It's either stored or transferred. And so I like to understand that it is level to level, and that there's
Yes.
always not something to conquer, but something to evolve, to actually
Mm.
come out of us. We're moving more of that fleshly component away so that the spirit and the purpose and the renewal of energy can come out more so that we can be more of what it is that we need to be, encouraging others to be more of who they can be. So it's like this tapestry of energy that goes into the environment around you so that everybody's fulfilling their purpose, and the energy and the atmosphere of that house, that town, that community, continues to evolve to sustain life and not destroy life. The other thing I wanted to bring it out is that, and this is a surprise to the Hype Man channel. That's only if it's all right with iMANi. That every so often, and iMANi don't know I'm about to say this, but I think that every so often, because I think that eventually I want to learn how to play Magic the Gathering. This bringing this so much purpose to this game and his life that it would be good maybe for me one day just to learn the basics. And who knows, I might get into it. But I think that since it resonates with iMANi so much that maybe on our broadcast, maybe he could show us a card
Yes.
and to maybe expound on that. So you don't have to whenever you feel the moment, maybe you can show a card that maybe means what it means to you, why you use it, the strategy behind it, you know,
Yes.
just so that the Hype Man channel family can kind of see what it is that you're talking about, man. Because I remember when you were playing Magic the Gathering and you were equating it to a game that that you were kind of questioning whether or not, should I even be focused on this because it's a quote unquote game, and is it taken away from what I really need to be doing? But you said, Dad,
Yes.
this thing is where I'm at right now, and I'm just going to dive in and go against the grain of what people think and actually do what my heart is telling me. And I've been seeing you develop and mature more that has actually been impacting your personal life as a
Yes.
professional. And I'm like, all right, man, it might be something about this game, man. I was like, I might, but I like it. And that might not be the game for me because what I'm being reminded is mom plays a game on her phone. It's called Dots.
Mm.
And it's just connect the dot game. And she uses that because she's always thinking. She uses that to calm her mind down and to relax. So that I would assume that actually helps her be present and not
Mm.
impulsive. Wow, I got to tell her about that. That's amazing. And then, like, even yourself, Magic the Gathering, because of your personality type and how your planetary constellation lines up and your energies evolve, Magic Gathering might help you. I don't know. It might help you get to that place of of being conscious and not compulsive, you know, to get
Mm.
to that center place where you're aware of your physical, spiritual, emotional, and intellectual, framework and how you dial into the earth. You know,
Yes.
that's important, which we call the pies, because we are all of those beings. We can't be all physical. We can't be all mental, like I got to work my way out through this problem. I got to figure out this formula and research. And you just in the book, and you can't be all, emotional, like, just all off the map. But you need the emotional drive in order to push you into your next element. You need the emotion, and you can't be all spiritual.
Yep.
Makes you feel earthly good. So Magic the Gathering is that game for you to help you touch all those components and make sure that you're
Yes.
not floating away, not sinking down, not too puffed up, not too, caved in like I'm no good, nobody. But Magic the Gathering helps you be present.
Yes. 1,000,000%.
That's what you
Like,
showed me. That's what you showed
yeah.
me.
For me, like, you are right. It's the thing that helps me feel present, and it's also the thing I can use to relieve the itch I've always had for competition. You know, like when you playing basketball, you can either play it like casually, you're with the boys, you shooting a couple hoops, or you're a kid, you're just playing horse with your friends. But then you add some competition to it if you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we gonna play for some money. Are we gonna play for bragging rights? We
Right.
playing for the title. We playing for
Right.
the NBA title, like this the world championship. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to things, and similar to that, it's with Magic the Gathering. There's levels to this, and for me, I'm extremely competitive, and I haven't always had the outlet because I allowed other people's words to infect me. I allowed my own words to infect me, and then I had all these self doubt. But for me, I feel complete because there's a level of healthy competition that I get from Magic the Gathering that I don't get with anything else that I've done my entire life after trying so many things. Magic the Gathering is that place where I'm like, no, I can do this. I want to do this. I can be the best at it, and I'm willing to put the time in to be the best at it. You know what I'm saying? And so now it's the question of asking myself, what is the me? What, like, where am I trying to go with it, and setting a trajectory for it. And so right now in my life, I want one of the things I'm maybe trying is moving towards maybe a world title in some place, because I do want to allow this to become a revenue stream for me. I've only been playing for a year and 2 weeks. And whenever people hear that, I tell people like the format I play, which is called modern. And the guy, it was an older guy who's been playing since 1999. He said, "I'm surprised most newer players, they're either playing more of the casual formats." I know as a black man, in addition, he was surprised because this was an older white guy. Like he's saying, like, you're smart enough to play modern. Like that's very competitive. Respectfully. And it was like, no, like, my thing is like whenever I play something new, like whenever I find something that I can grasp to and I walk through my 3 steps, I activate. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I went up to the counter, I didn't ask, well, can I get in the top 4 or the top 8? I asked myself, do I want it? How bad do I want it? And I knew in my heart I really didn't want it too bad, but I was still, that it's something that would be fun. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to take it one game at a time. And I'm not going to attach myself or my worth to the outcome of this. I'm not
Nice.
going to attach my outcome to when the house sells or how successful I am at my job, or whether my relationship is in its best time or its low time, or whether my friendships are optimized or whether my businesses are all optimized. I'm just going to take it one transaction at a time. I'm going to take it one business deal at a time. I'm going to take it one game at a time. And it allows me to not take the weight, the pressures that put the world puts on me, and not putting any additional pressure on myself. Because in order to be excellent at what you want to do, in order to grow better, be better, and do better, you got to put the pressure on yourself sometimes. But there is a such thing as too much pressure. And though pressure does make diamonds, pressure it can also crack cold. So you got to know it's a slow pressure over time to get to the diamond you want to be, to whatever goal you set for yourself. Yeah.
Very good word. We got a lot of tweetable moments in that. What do you say in consistency over intensity?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's
Took
that's
the
that's
word out of my mouth.
that's a base iMANi quote.
Yes, sir.
I know we've heard it from a lot of people, but that's his vibration that I take from. But I want the coach to come out for a minute. All right, I feel the coach coming out because we didn't already reach the level of hypeness. I just feel my energy when I talk to my son, iMANi Mason, base I get energized, and I'm thankful. And so, our channel to grow better, to be better, and do better. I know that we're encouraging the hype man channel for women, men, all nationalities, creeds, and colors. If this encourages you, go ahead again, like and subscribe and share it,
Yes.
because it's important that you optimize your livelihood to affect the circle that you're around by starting with you. And so, like I said, I felt the coach coming out, meaning that, as iMANi was saying, healthy competition is important, because in order to be effective in healthy competition, a level of discipline must be achieved.
Yes.
Discipline has never hurt or hindered anyone. It's when you, like iMANi says, overdo it.
Mm.
You know when it's time for you to fast.
Yep.
All right. You know when it's time to push the plate away, because you cannot optimize certain levels of consciousness if you're stuffing yourself with the wrong type of energy:
Mm.
food energy, mental energy, spiritual energy, emotional energy. You gotta maybe push away the plate, push away that particular phone conversation with that friend, with that individual, because they may have only served you for that moment in time. So you
Mm.
may have to cut that relationship.
Yes.
When you wake up in the morning or before you go to sleep, you know that before you go to bed, you need a little workout. You got to get the heart pumping, get the blood flowing. It might not be push ups, it might not be jumping jacks, it might not be running 3 miles. It might be just sitting there breathing and meditating,
Mm.
uh, and then moving your arms or moving your feet and your legs or moving your head or your hips, just getting the blood flow, moving various different ways to unlock and unblock those chakras so that you're optimizing your life physically, spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually.
Mm.
That you're thinking and feeling and doing
Mm.
what it is that you need to do at an optimal and effective level uh, for the purpose of making your world and the world of others a better place. And that's just important. And that's where that competition comes in. So I wanted to just share that because that resonated with me when you were talking, Imani. I had to get myself up this morning, man. Coach was outside, man. Sometimes you got to take matters into your own hands. Sometimes you don't have to wait for the group. You don't have to. You look at Kobe Bryant. You look at Derrick Rose. A lot of the greats, Michael Jordan. A lot of the greats practice before and after practice, meaning that
Yep.
yeah, I have a job. I got to show up between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock with the team to practice. That's my job. But my life is making sure that I'm practicing before you practice and while you sleep, I'm still practicing. I got a season that I just go at it. Now, sure enough, I give the body rest, and build myself back up. But in order for me to be what it is that I need to be, I have to begin to achieve a certain level of discipline for a certain period of time for this particular level.
Yes.
And it's where I need to be. You're not copying off of anybody. You just emulating, what it is that's the desire that's in your heart. There's nothing wrong with copying a perfect man or perfect woman, or not maybe not perfect, but optimized man, optimized woman. As long as it's coming from your core and you see that it's encouraging you to do that you need to do. And that sometimes, get away from the group, get away from the practice, get away from that man or that woman that's encouraging you, and find out the drive that's pulling you from the inside so that you can be in the internal order of what I just made a word up of what where you need to be.
Right.
So yeah, the coach, I just felt that inspiration. You got me to that level. The coach had to come out.
Well,
So
man, thank you so much. I appreciate the flowers there, and I want everybody before we start closing out, everybody to drop down in the comment section what you took from what I said, what you took from what the coach said, and what you feel led yourself is a coachable moment that you can share with the rest of the audience because we're a family here. All right. And also, like I always say, make sure you liking, make sure you subscribing, and ringing the bell, you all. We love you all. Um, but before I close, how could I? I gotta do it. The beard check in, boy. Hit it with it. Hit it with it. Hit it with it. Come on now. All the goodness. All the goodness. We gonna keep it quick. Uh, yes, sir. It's looking luscious. It's looking luscious, Coach.
you see the bottom part?
It's looking good. Yes.
Trying to start. I stopped cutting it, man.
I'm telling you, bro. It's coming in. Hey, so check it. The beard tip for this week, like I always say, consistency over intensity. Give it, could be consistent with it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't try to be perfect overnight. Be consistent with it. Coach, hit us with a health and wellness tip for the week.
Man, the health and the wellness tip is when to push away the plate, pushing away one meal a day or one meal at any time during a certain period of the week. It might be once a week, go ahead and do it. Let that sacrifice happen for you. Uh, just investigate fasting as it works for you.
Yes, sir. This is base iMANi, and you all can find me at Linktree at base underscore iMANi on my social medias. How about you, Coach?
Yes, and you can find me at Linktree / Coach Green Gene on all my social media pages as well.
Yes, sir. All right. We love you all. Thank you so much. Peace.
Peace.